Well, while you look at that, time to charge. All these cables. Video game chargers. It's something that we all need in order to keep our systems up and running, whether it be the controller or the handheld itself. The original Game Boy up to the Game Boy Advance all used batteries. This could be seen as either a good thing or a bad thing, mainly because while the batteries were easy to change, sometimes they were forgotten about, ruining your system completely. The Game Boy Advance SP was the first Nintendo console to actually introduce a rechargeable battery. We no longer had to keep on buying packs of batteries because now we could just plug this thing in and we could keep on playing again and again and again without having to go to the store whatsoever. Nintendo would then go ahead and release the original Nintendo DS. And this DS would also have the same exact charger as the Game Boy Advance SP. And before you guys go ahead and start typing, I know the Game Boy Micro also had another kind of charger. I just do not have one on hand to show you guys right now, but you get the point, right? And then comes revisions. When Nintendo released the Nintendo DS Lite, they also announced a new way of charging the console. This specific charger only fit the DS Lite. It no longer fit the original DS, and it did not fit anything else besides that. So now we had two different kinds of chargers. The PlayStation Vita 2000 as well as the PS4 controllers used a micro USB charger. I personally hated these chargers because they would always get loose and eventually stop working completely. And as for the PlayStation 3 controller, it also used a different charger. This one used a mini USB Type-B charger. Yeah, it starts to get a little confusing right here. Especially when you think about it, because the regular Type-B is actually the one that we use for the printers. But the mini version of a Type-B cable is what Sony decided to use in order to charge the PlayStation 3 controllers, which was very interesting at the time. And when Nintendo introduced the Nintendo DSi, they introduced a completely new charger again, just for the DSi. But luckily, they decided to keep it for a little bit longer because when they released the 3DS, it also used the same exact charger that fit the DSi. So finally, Nintendo decided to reuse the same exact design as the previous system before it. So now you know if you ever find yourself a 3DS charger, you can also use it on your DSi if you ever have one or if you lost your original one. Even though at this point I feel like a 3DS is better. And even though the charging ends look very similar to the one used on the Wii U to charge the gamepad, they are completely different. One of them is actually bigger than the other. But don't let it fool you from the distance, because even though they were released around the same time, they do not cooperate with each other. No matter how much I try, this thing is not gonna budge inside. Ugh. The PlayStation Vita 1000 featured an OLED screen, but it also had another kind of charger that was only used for this system since the 2000 version went to micro USB. But finally, Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox all agreed to just use USB Type-C in order to charge their new systems, which is a miracle because it was a pain to find the one you needed back in the day.